Hi everyone, welcome back to class. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Kathleen and this is going to be a full body class. We are going to be using a small Pilates ball, so make sure you do have one with you. And then optional is a set of light ankle weights. So here I have my 1 pound ankle weights. I wouldn't recommend going heavier than 2 pounds if you are going to incorporate them. And again, they are completely optional. Do not need them for class. It's just optional if you'd like a little extra challenge in your flow today. All right, you're not going to need your props for a warm-up, and we're going to start with some seated breathing, as we always do. So just take a comfortable seat on your mat, go ahead and close your eyes, and then just start to relax. Relax your shoulders, feel heavy on your mat, relax through your jaw, and then as you inhale, you're going to start to sweep your arms overhead. You're going to take a big inhale through your nose, filling all the way up. And at the top of your inhale, hold for a second, and then slowly start to exhale out through your mouth, releasing all of that air out of your lungs. Feel that contraction in your belly as you come to the bottom of your exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Reach those arms overhead. Fill all the way up. Hold. Exhale, release everything, feel your belly contracting, and 1 more like that. Inhale through your nose, hold, and then exhale, release. Slowly letting all of the air go, and open up your eyes. Okay, let's get started. So we're gonna get straight into our warm-up. Again, no props for now. You're gonna plant your palms down, shoulder width distance apart, and step back into a downward facing dog. And we're just gonna start with a little stretch here. So this might be the first stretch of the day, first down dog of the day. Find a generous bend in your knees and focus first on finding length out of your spine. So I want you to think about finding a long line of energy from the crown of your head out through your tailbone, really elongating, finding maximum length in that spine. It's totally fine to have a very deep bend in your knees. It's okay for your heels to peel off the mat. Let's focus on that long spine first. Think about chest towards your thighs. Take your gaze between your toes. And then when you're ready, you can start to pedal out your legs one at a time, allowing your hips to rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, you can start to play around with straightening out through your legs and drawing your heels closer to the mat. Finding that stretch in the backside of your legs if that feels good to you. 1 more breath here. And now I want you to step your feet in about 6 to 8 inches. And so your knees might bend even more, and that's totally fine. From here, you're gonna drop down into your bear. So you're gonna find a hovering tabletop here. Shoulders stack over your wrists. You're puffing out the space between your shoulder blades, drawing your belly button, your navel back towards your spine. And your knees are hovering just inches away from the mat, finding a strong core and finding a neutral spine here, so we're not tucking through the tailbone. Notice if your knees feel like they're a little bit too close, you want those knees to stack right underneath your hips, so adjust your stance as needed. And then from here, you're gonna lift back up using your core strength back into your downward facing dog. And then you're gonna drop it back down. Exhale to lift the hips up. Inhale, drop it back down. Just a few like this, warming up through our core. Let's do 3 more, and then we're gonna add on. Here's 2. And here's 1 more. All right, on this next one, listen carefully. It's gonna be a big transition. You're gonna come down into your bear. You're gonna hold for just a second, and then I want you to pivot towards your right side, so coming onto the knife edge of that foot. You're going to lift through your right leg, and you're just gonna tap your ankle, toe, whatever you can reach with your left fingertips. And then from here, you're gonna twist back around, back into your bear, and then find your downward facing dog. So again, slowly coming down into that bear. We're gonna twist, pivoting over to the right. We're gonna reach our left fingertips to that right foot. We're gonna pivot back around and then lift the hips up. 3 more like that. maybe a little bit faster. And I really want you to focus on staying lifted the whole time. So trying not to let those hips drop down as we find that extension of the leg, really using your core strength here. And we're challenging our stability big time. So I want you to move slow, make the movement really clear, really precise. All right, that was our third one. From here, we're just gonna find a downward facing dog, and then we're gonna go into the other side. So you're gonna find your bear, twist over to the left, extend your left leg, reach the right fingertips, twist back around, find your balance, and downward facing dog. So we come down, we pivot, reach, come back to our bear, and find downward facing dog, just like that. Moving nice and slow and controlled, really trying to focus on form and balance, letting this come from the core. Let's do 3 more here. Breathing through it. And I like to exhale as I find that leg extension. We have 1 more. All right, and then you're gonna find your downward facing dog, and then you're gonna come back. You're gonna find your downward facing dog and come down onto your knees just for a second. You're gonna come down onto your knees. Drop those knees to the mat just for a second. Take a breather. Alrighty, hopefully your core is feeling a bit warmed up. We're now gonna get into a bit of cardio. We're gonna get that heart rate up. And what I want you to do is come into a high plank, and we're gonna take a mountain climber variation, where we're gonna run our knees from one side to the other. And so this twist is gonna come from your core. So think about twisting from your core and not from the shoulders. Try to keep the upper body stable. So it's gonna look like this, starting on the left side. We're gonna run our knees from the left to the center and over then to the right. And then we're gonna sweep it back, coming back through center and then over to the left. 2 more times like that. Through center, over to the right, back over to center, over to the left. 1 more like this. You've got it. Trying to keep those hips low through center, over to the right. Try not to rush the sweep, back through center. Hold for just a second. Set the knees down. Woo. All right, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Hopefully you're really starting to feel your body warm up. You're starting to feel your heart rate elevate. That's the intention. Alrighty, second round now. Coming back into that high plank, doing exactly the same thing, starting on the left side. So we're starting on the left, running it over to center, keeping those shoulders stacked over your wrists, to the right, back to center, back to the left. That's 1. Keep on going here. Remember to breathe. Keep the core engaged. Try to keep the hips low. All right, 1 more here. Almost done. Coming to center, coming to the right, back to center. Hold, and drop the knees down. Take a seat on your heels. Woo. All right, starting to feel really warm now. We have just 1 more set, and then our body's gonna feel really nice and warm. We're gonna get into some more targeted exercises. All right, last set. You've got this. Come into that high plank, and when you're ready, we're gonna start on the left side, running it to center, running it over to the right, coming back through center, and over to the left. That's 1. And again, coming through center, over to the right. Breathe through it. Maybe run up even a little bit faster if you can for this last set here. Last one of class. Whew. Come to center, hold. Set the knees down. Woo. And go ahead and take a child's pose with your ball. Go ahead and grab your ball. Place it underneath your forehead. Reach those arms forward and just breathe. Few breaths here. You made it. I know that one was hard, but hopefully you're feeling nice and warm. Woo, alrighty. When you're ready, slowly start to peel up. And now, if you would like to use your ankle weights, we're gonna use them on our hands to start. So go ahead,
And strap your weights onto your hands. I like to bring them just around my palms like this. If having it around your wrist feels more comfortable to you, by all means, do so. Okay, you are also gonna need your ball. And we're gonna place our ball towards the back side of our mat. Oops. And we're gonna start with our right leg forward and our left leg back. So you kind of want the ball towards the left side, left back edge of your mat. And the way I like to get into this is I like to bring my left heel onto the ball first and then step my right foot forward. And you want your feet to be about hips width distance apart. So our legs are not super narrow. They're on train tracks, and all 10 toes are gonna point forward. So we're parallel here. Hips are facing same direction as the toes. Everything is parallel facing forward. All right, from here, you're gonna start with your hands on your hips, finding a nice long spine here, tall through the crown of your head. You're gonna drop down into your split lunge, into a very deep lunge. We're aiming to tap the left knee onto the mat. Then you're gonna lift back up. Your heel's gonna touch that ball. And as you straighten out through your legs, I want you to press your left heel, activating the backside of that left leg deeply into the ball. And as you do so, I want you to think about drawing the left hip forward and spiraling that right hip back. And then really think about squeezing your inner thighs together, scissoring them, spiraling them in towards one another. Feel your inner thighs engage. Doesn't look like much from here, but I assure you, you're feeling it. Okay, and repeat. We're gonna come down, dropping down into that split lunge. And you can adjust your stance as necessary. In your lunge, you want your knee to stack over your ankle. So if you feel like you're a little bit too narrow, go ahead and step that right foot slightly forward. And we're moving slow here, squeezing those inner thighs. Okay, we're gonna add on now, reaching those arms forward. As you come down into your lunge, you're gonna find bow and arrow with the arms, reaching that right elbow back at shoulder height. And as you stand, you're gonna reach that arm forward. We're gonna inhale, lower, twisting from your core, trying to keep those hips squared forward. Nice, just like that, and really squeezing that left heel into the ball, and feel how that activates the backside of your left leg. Okay, we're gonna do 5 more like this. Nice job. And exhale as you lift. Here's 3. We have 2. Keep that core nice and engaged. Find 1 more. All right, now what we're gonna do, you're gonna drop down into your lunge. As you do so, the arms are gonna sweep back, and then you're gonna take a big transition here. You're gonna step your left foot forward and reach those arms forward. So now you're in a narrow squat with your feet hips width distance apart. And we're gonna repeat. So we're just gonna step it back into our split lunge. You can ignore the ball now. Let's do 5 more like this. Down and lift. Here's 4. Sinking low into that squat. 3, 2, and 1 more. Sink low and stand all the way up. Woo, all right. Getting straight into the other side now. You're now gonna bring the ball over behind your right leg, and the left leg will be forward. And I'm just gonna switch around here so you can see this a little bit better. All right, and again, to start, you wanna come back, set that heel on the ball first, and then step forward. And again, you can adjust the width of your stance here as we sink into that lunge. Hands on your hips to start. We're gonna sink down into our lunge, tapping the right knee down, and then you're gonna start to lift up, pressing the heel into the ball, and then again, spiraling your inner thighs in towards one another, drawing your right hip forward and pulling the left hip back so that they're parallel. Again, down, and exhale, lift. We sink down as you inhale. Exhale, lift up, really lifting out through the crown of your head, pressing into that ball with the heel activating the backside of your right leg. All right, we're gonna add in our arms, reaching those arms forward to start. We're gonna sink down into our lunge, drawing the left elbow back. Exhale to stand, reaching the arm back forward. We come down. I'm feeling this big time in my right quad. And as I stand, I'm feeling it in the back of my right leg. Nice job. Let's do 5 more. Here's 4. And 3. And 2. Remembering to find that breath. 1 more. Really press into that ball. All right, from here, we're gonna come down into our lunge, sweeping those palms back, arms long, and then you're gonna find that weight shift change, finding your squat, reaching those arms forward, finding a long spine here. So we come back, and it's okay if you kick the ball away. We won't need it anymore for this move. Let's do 5 more. And 4. And exhale. 3. 2. 1 more. Hold it low. And then slowly stand all the way up. Woo. Alrighty, hopefully feeling nice and warm in those legs. We're now gonna come down onto our mat. And I want you to strap your ankle weights onto your ankles if you are using them. So go ahead and place them onto your ankles. Alrighty. And once you have that, you are also gonna need your ball. And you're gonna place the ball behind your right knee and make sure it's nice and secure so it doesn't roll away. Right away, I want you to find a squeeze on that ball. And the key for this entire exercise, or at least one thing I want you to think about for sure, is to really try to maintain a squeeze on the ball with that working leg the whole time for this series. Okay, so from here, starting in a tabletop, shoulders stack over those wrists, hips, shoulders stack over those wrists. You're gonna step your left foot back, like you're gonna find a high plank. You're gonna draw the right knee in towards your chest, keeping your gaze forward on the mat. And you're gonna think about trying to draw your knee into your chest, squeezing the ball. You're gonna sink it back down, and then you're just gonna lift the left toes up to about hip height. You're gonna repeat. Drop, lift, set the knee down, lift the leg up. 1 more like this, and then we're gonna add on a little bit. Lift, set the knee down, lift the leg up. Now we're gonna take out the leg lift. And from here, you're just gonna find the knee to chest. So squeezing the knee to chest, dropping the knee down, and exhale, lift. Try to keep those hips nice and quiet, so we're not allowing the hips to come up and down with us. There's less of a range of motion with the knee, and that's totally fine. I don't want you to really emphasize squeezing the ball, especially as the knee comes into the chest. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1 more. Set the knee down, and then lift the leg back up. We're gonna take it into another variation. From here, this time, instead of knee to chest, we're gonna find a hamstring curl. So we're finding that plank, hamstring curl with the right leg. Set it down, lift it up. Just finding the movement here first to start. We're gonna do 1 more like this, and then we're gonna take it into just the hamstring curl. So here's your last one. And then from here, you're just gonna drop the knee down and then find that hamstring curl, squeezing the ball for 4. And 3. 2. And find 1 more. And slowly set the knee down. Take a seat here, take the ball out from underneath you. Whew. Take a moment just to catch your breath. We're going to the other side. That one's hard. A lot of core and a lot of strength in that working leg. You're gonna tuck that ball behind your left knee now. Go ahead, and I'm gonna flip around. You guys don't need to. And you're gonna find your tabletop again, and then again, think about squeezing that ball with your left leg. All right, tabletop here, you're gonna step the right toes back, You're gonna draw the knee into chest, keeping your gaze forward and long. Set it down, lift that leg, and tap. 2 more. Lift and tap. Here's 1 more. Lift and tap. Now we're just gonna go into the knee lifts. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Feeling your core really engage as you draw that knee in towards your chest. Emphasizing a little micro hold there at the top for 3 and 2. Gentle bend in your elbows. Try not to lock out here. And set the knee down. And then lift the leg up. And this time going into the hamstring curl variation, we're going to lift the left leg up and lower it down. We lift and tap 2 more like this. And lift and tap. Last one here. And lift and tap. And now just the hamstring curl, flexing through that foot. We lower and lift, squeezing that ball. Feeling your hamstring work hard here for 3, 2, try not to rush it, find that full range of movement. Last 1. And gently set the ball down, set the knee down, take the ball out. Let's take a quick child's pose again. Go ahead and roll the ball out. I really like having the ball as a prop, even for things like child's pose. You can certainly do this without the ball if you just prefer to have your head all the way down. I find that changing it up can be interesting and feels nice. You can also place the ball underneath your chest or your belly if that feels good to you. So like this. Last breath. And go ahead and sit all the way up. Alrighty. Okay, so we're now gonna get into some oblique work. You're gonna come down onto your left side here. We're gonna use the ball again. You can keep the ankle weights on because we'll need them in just a bit. All right, from here, I want you to find your legs long out in front of you. So it's almost as if you're standing, but you're lying on your side body. So your feet are gonna be slightly forward of your hips. They're not gonna stack right underneath. All right, from here, you want your left forearm to be parallel to the top edge of your mat. And then from here, you want to place the ball right near your left hand. So you're kind of making this right angle with your palms here. You're going to place the ball underneath your right palm. And then from here, I want you to lift up right away, engaging through those left obliques, the left side body, lifting out of your shoulder. So trying not to sink into the shoulder like this, really using that shoulder strength, pressing into the ball, and then lower it back down. We're gonna exhale, lift, and inhale, lower, keeping your gaze directly in front of you, or if that's not nice for your neck, you can take it directly down to the mat, whatever feels better to you. And I really want you to think about pressing into the ball and lifting those hips high. Really finding length out of your left side body, pressing out of that shoulder for 5. Finding our fullest range of movement here. 4, moving slow, feeling it deep in those muscles for 3. And 2. And we're gonna find 1 more. And lower both hips down. Take a little breather. And this time we're gonna place the ball behind your right knee again. Staying on our side body, on our left side body, we're gonna bring our knees into tabletop. So knees right in front of your hips, shins parallel to the long edge of your mat. And you can just tent the right fingertips here. From here, I want you to separate your legs so they're in an equal sign. And then you're gonna flex through your toes, squeeze onto that ball, and then you're gonna extend that right leg back, keeping that shape, keeping the squeeze of the ball, and then bring it back to your starting position. So we're just sweeping it across an imaginary tabletop until the knee stacks underneath the hip when you draw it back. And then we're coming back into that tabletop position. All right, let's do 2 more like this, and then we're gonna add on just a little bit. And here's 1 more. All right, now For this next one, we're doing the same move, but we're gonna add a lift of the knee. So we're lifting up from our hip and then down, and then we come back to that starting position. So we're gonna extend it back. A little lift up, bring it back, and come back to your starting position. Again, squeezing onto that ball, and now you're gonna feel it more in that outer right glute with a lift of that leg and the squeeze of the ball for 5. And 4. Squeezing that ball like crazy, feeling the shakes, embracing it. Let's do 2 more. Staying long out of the left side body. Trying not to sink into your shoulder here. All right, take little squeezes of the ball for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw the knee back forward. We're not quite done yet, but we're almost there. This time I want you to come onto the toes of your left foot and lift that left heel high. And what we're gonna do is tap the knees together, keep squeezing onto that ball, and then tap the heels together. So rotating from your hip. And you can even put your hand on your hip and feel that rotation. So nothing else is moving here. We're just rotating everything from the hip. Let's do 3 more. Lifting out of your left side body. And 2. And 1 more. Shaking like crazy. And then set the knees down. Whew. All right, straight to the other side. Grabbing your ball with you. We're gonna start with our obliques. So we're gonna come into that long side plank position, and that forearm is gonna be nice and flat on the mat, and again, parallel to the short edge of your mat. You're gonna place the ball so that your fingertips are making this right angle with each other. Place your palm onto that ball, and when you're ready, using the strength of your right side body here, and really pressing out through your shoulder, pressing into your forearm, you're gonna lift up, press into the ball, lift your hips high and hold for a second. Notice how it feels, and then slowly lower it down. And I really want you to focus on moving slow here. Even as we lower down, you're still finding resistance as you come down, finding that control, using different parts of your obliques here to support you with your forearm that's supporting you. I want you to really think about feeling the mat with the whole forearm, all 10 finger pads, and your whole palm. So I don't want you to kind of do weird crunchy things with your palm. I want you to really think about your whole hand as an extension of your arm here. Lifting up and lowering down. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower for 3. And 2. Finding 1 more here. And with control, lower all the way down. Whew. All right. Now you're gonna bring that ball behind your left leg. And again, finding that squeeze. You're gonna bring your legs into this tabletop shape again. Center left fingertips. Squeezing onto that ball, flexing through your toes. You're gonna separate your legs a few inches apart. And then you're just gonna draw that knee back and forward. Inhale, takes it back. Exhale as we swoop forward. 3 more like this, and then we're gonna add on with a little lift of our knee. Here's 2. And 1 more. All right, you're gonna draw it back. You're gonna lift the knee up and down and forward. We're gonna come back, lift, lower, and forward. 5 more like this. Lift, lower, and forward. Trying to find length out of that right side body. Trying not to dump weight into the shoulder. Here's 2. And 1 more, and then we're gonna take it into clams. So again, flexing through the bottom foot and lifting that heel. You're gonna tap your knees together, squeezing that ball. Tap your heels together, rotating from the hip. So we're initiating from our hip here. Feeling this big time in our outer right glutes for 3. And 2. 1 more. And set the knees down. Take the ball out from underneath you. Whew. All right, we've made it to the last part of class, and we're gonna get into some core, belly up core with the ball. If you're using weights, keep the ankle weights on here. And of course, you can take them off at any point if it feels like too much. You're gonna place the ball at your low back, and then you're just gonna come back into that ball, finding a C curve, rounding through your spine. Slight tuck of the tailbone here, feeling your core engage right away. Feet together, feet are nice and heavy on the mat. You can bring your hands behind your head, but if this is too much, reach those arms forward. And if that's too much, just tent your fingertips to either side of you for support. All right, from here, we're just taking a simple curl here, simple crunch back into the ball, finding those C-curve crunches. Very small range of movement here. You should feel this pretty intensely right away in your core. Exhale as you lift up, inhale as you come back. Keeping those elbows wide in your peripheral vision if you have your hands tucked behind your head to support the weight of your head here. And again, like I said, if this becomes too much, just extend the arms forward. See how that feels. Try a few here. If that's again too much, option always to drop the fingertips down by your side, and you're still gonna feel this big time in the core. I still feel it big time. All right, let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, you're gonna add in a knee march. So as you come back, you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna lift up. As you come up, you're gonna draw that right knee into tabletop, and then set it back down, alternating sides, left and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And again, you can play around with the arms here, sinking your low back into the ball every time you come back. Let's do 4 more on each side. Here's 3. We have 2. We have 1. All right, hold here for just a second. Maybe grab onto the backs of your thighs, take a little breather, readjust the ball if you need to. Get comfortable. We're not quite done yet. All right, from this position, you can reach your arms forward here. It's gonna be a bit intense, I'm gonna warn you, if you have your hands behind your head, but you're more than welcome to try. You're gonna start with your right knee in tabletop, and you're just gonna take big bicycle circles with that knee. Forward. For 3, switching direction in 2, in 1, switching direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then switch sides, lifting the left knee to tabletop. You're gonna extend forward, drawing those big bicycles forward for 3, 2, 1. Keeping open through your chest, reverse the direction of your bicycles for 3, 2, 1 more. Set the feet down. All right. This time I want you to roll down so that the ball is between your shoulder blades. And we're gonna take those bicycles again, but with both legs this time. So I want you to lift your knees into tabletop, and then you can either have your hands behind your head or reaching forward or out to either side of you. So we're just gonna take big bicycles with both legs, moving simultaneously for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch direction and circle for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees to tabletop, set them down. We have just 1 more move, and then we're all done with the hard work. All right, this time I want you to bring both knees into tabletop. For this one, you might want to have your fingertips to either side or reaching forward here as opposed to behind your head. All right, from here, I just want you to dip those toes down towards the mat and exhale using your lower abs, lift your knees back up to tabletop. Just 4 more like this. Inhale and exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. 2 more. Down and lift. 1 more. We lower, exhale, lift. And set the knees down. And then just take a big stretch over that ball. Oops. before it runs away from you. All right, between your shoulder blades, arguably one of my favorite stretches. And you're just gonna roll over that ball, dropping your head heavy, maybe cactusing your arms out by your side, letting your legs be super heavy here, allowing your hip bones to melt into the mat, maybe your feet splay open, and just breathe. A few more breaths. And then we're slowly gonna roll ourselves up. And from here, I want you to just come around, swivel around, keep the ball here. Another one of my favorite stretches. We did do a lot of side body work. From here, you're gonna find length out of your left toes, and then you're gonna reach your left fingertips in the opposite direction. So you're creating a long diagonal line of energy here, pulling yourself in opposite directions, and your right palm is just planted on the mat, supporting you. Nice, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. I'm just gonna bring my ball with me. So this time, that right leg is gonna extend, and the right fingertips extend forward. Again, reaching in opposite direction here to find the maximum stretch. Sinking into the ball. And then you're gonna roll yourself up. And as I always say, if you have time after class, I totally encourage you to maybe stretch out your glutes and your hamstrings, and maybe your hip flexors, whatever feels right to you. But otherwise, you guys are all done with class. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this class. Glad to be back here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please feel free to. I try to drop a class pretty regularly, and so you can stay tuned on the channel or on Instagram for updates. And thank you so much.